You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. And what made you want to jump into property training? Because let's be honest, you and I have both attended many property trainings. Every market's saturated nowadays, but there is a lot of stick when it comes to, some big people in the space. Yeah. And not only a property training, but you've also gone down the club route, which the networking groups, we've got Property Professionals Network, PPN, you've got PIN as well, some quite well-established networking groups. So what made you want to go in, first of all, as a property mentor and then start the Property Entrepreneurs Club?
So, yeah, it's a good question. First of all, I think there's a lot of good stuff in the industry, but there's also a load of shit in there. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a lot of the way it's sold. I think people are starting to get a little bit like, what's the word? They're coming a bit smarter too. So it's like the marketing techniques, the NLP, the sales techniques, etc., where people are buying on emotion because they've been built up to that emotional state to then buy something that they probably don't necessarily need and then regret. And then what we see is we now see a lot of the negativity, and unrightly so, right? Because then people have, even though they've still got to take responsibility for that decision, they've obviously been led in that particular way. So I think as a result, the industry is changing. And so the way, and to answer your question about how have I ended up where I'm at, partly I'm at where I'm at now because of that. But the way I started in property mentoring, what was that, probably 7 or 8 years ago, it kind of was a bit by accident. It was twofold. One, I started getting involved in networking anyway. And then as I was networking, I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I think there's an opportunity that I could maybe help out. I started going to the Hampshire Property Network, which I'm still very active within now. And I saw it was like a nice little meeting, above a pub. There was no like sale. It was completely unaffiliated. It was a really nice vibe, but it was proper old school, right? It was like cash in hand. It was like written receipts and really small. And I spoke with the kind of the founder who'd started it a number of years before, and just sort of said, look, like, I think I could help you grow this if you're interested in growing. I could probably help you build a website. I'm, quite good at kind of attracting people in, maybe modernize it a little bit. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. Why not? We're not really doing it from the money, but let's just see what we can create. So I jumped on board, and this is also timed with my breakdown sort of off the back of that, right? So one of the things I decided I need to do is get out more because being on my own is not good. So meet more people, right? So one of the things I did was join that network. Mark Smith, who's done a lot for me over the years as well, and he said, yeah, come on board. So I joined the Hampshire Property Network. And then it grew and grew and grew. So we got it from about 15, 20 people in the pub to, 80 people a month regularly at different venues now. So it was really cool. It stayed unaffiliated. But as a result, people would then come up to me and be like, oh, so you're doing quite well. Because by that point, I suppose I was doing okay financially. I could have kind of quit and not done anything. How did you do it? Can I buy your coffee? Can I buy your lunch? I was like, yeah, sure. And then I did that for a little while. And then again, Lauren sort of sat me down, my mentor, I suppose, and said, you're going for a lot of coffees. Like, what's this leading to? Is it leading to? I was like, oh, I was just kind of sharing she was like, have you not thought about maybe charging? I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I feel like I'm, the type, like, got enough experience or enough knowledge. But, she was like, well, have a think about it. And so I did. And that's when I then reached out to other mentors. And so I then joined a program, a mastermind of my own, to pretty much, to be honest, see how they were doing it, to then copy, model, same thing, right? And so, but then I ended up being sold to, right? So I ended up went through the whole kind of like it's discovery day, and I was like, join the mastermind, and then before I knew it, I dropped like 5K on this mastermind. I was like, hang on a minute, how did that happen? Damn
it, I'm in the funnel.
Yeah, I'm in the funnel. So, but actually they were, really cool. And to be honest, like I said, that kind of coincided with a time when I felt like I needed some support anyway. So these guys, they've been really close to me since. I've stayed in touch with them. And they've been fantastic. But what I also realized is that there was an opportunity for me there, because I actually knew quite a lot about property then. probably more so than they did. So I sort of, in one of our discussions, I sort of suggested them, look, would you like me to do some mentoring for you? Because I think, as you can probably tell, I could bring something to your community, right? So that started it off as well. So that's how I then started mentoring for them. I still mentor for them a little bit now, just because, you know, we you know, stay in touch, and it's good to work together and help each other out. But that's how it started. But then how it's evolved into the Property Entrepreneurs Club today is like where I've then sort of said, yeah, I think the industry needs to change, the way that it's sold to needs to change. And because I sort of kind of came from that networking sort of starting point, unaffiliated kind of non-salesy starting point, I think people value just not being, you know, just being able to get, you know, meet good people. I think the way networking events are run of also getting a bit stale. I think that needs a bit of a refresh at the moment. So we've got, you know, the networking events starting up and being done slightly differently. You know, we have like games, we have, you know, a bit of fun. Because one of my philosophies is if you can't enjoy it, then what's the point, right? And I think that's again come back to my personal experience of just putting too much pressure on myself and not really enjoying that period of my life. Like, actually now just enjoy yourself, like come along. Yes, it's a serious topic. Yes, it's about changing lives, etc., make more money. But, you know, let's have a beer. Let's play a bit of beer pong. Let's have a few games. Let's let our hair down a little bit as well. Make some good relationships, because it's actually the people around you who create the opportunities, and they're also the people who get you out of a hole when you need to. And you've got to have good relationships. Like, for example, I know if I was having a problem, I could call you and you would help me out, right? In the same way I could call all the other people who are close to me. But you've got to spend time building those relationships. And I think that's what I'm trying to create a little bit.